Welcome, students. It is Mrs. Hurd's first time creating a YouTube video with sound, so bear with me. This tutorial is going to be chunked a little bit by little bit, and I'll keep adding to it, and there'll be more videos to follow. But it has to do with our vector portraits that we're going to create. So yesterday in class we created some green screen shots that we'll be using for this assignment. But first off, I would like for you to go to google.com, type in vector portraits, and I'd just like to show you how many awesome images there are out there. There's simple, there's difficult, there's lots of examples to look at and see, and different styles. Some of my favorites I actually pinned to my graphic design board that I have on Pinterest, and I'd like to show you some of those. First off, we have this fisherman sailor kind of guy, and I just love the details of his swirly hair everywhere. And you'll notice if you look closely, not only is each little strand drawn, but there's beautiful little highlights and shadowed areas, as well as on his skin they also have some shadowed areas. And even his eyes, you can see the highlight and all the details, and that's what we want to go for in this project. Here's another one. It's a little bit simpler. This one has a great use of color. They didn't break down into as many layers as this one did, but it equally shows a great vector portrait. This one's also pretty simple. However, there's some overlapping and blending options changed. There's some nice highlighting detail on the skin. Simplified geometric shapes are very apparent all over, but it works really well. And you can see the fine detail here around the fringed hair. This one is beautiful with so many details and so many different styles. There's solid flat color, there's pixelated dots in color, then you have it like a skeleton kind of showing through, simplified and abstract. Beautiful highlights and shadows in the hair. This is a great example as well. This one's a little too simple for my taste, but it's an option. And then I'll just go through these fairly quickly. This is a full body shot. We have our Mad Men reference right here, and you can see the shadows and the highlights. It's simple, but it's a nice portrait. Solid background, highlights in the hair, lines for details in the face. This is like what we'll be creating. And then this one, the textural effects in this one is beautiful, and the layering, and the skin has a texture, the hair has a texture, everything. There's so many different hidden textures and colors used. It's just very beautiful. So with that being said, you guys feel free to Google and find your own references and find out what kind of styles you're attracted to. And once you have a kind of decent idea about that, maybe even save one of these or pin it to your board or save it to your Facebook page so that you can reference it and look at it later. You're going to go to Mrs. Hurd's art room at artfchsmules.blogspot.com. Now here you should be familiar with this virtual art room site I've created. However, instead of finding your post in the regular spot, since they were personal pictures, I try to kind of hide them a little bit. So you're going to go over to graphic design. Here you'll find all the great pictures that we took yesterday. And you're going to scroll down until you find yours and the one that you're happy with. Okay, so I finally found mine. I'm going to right click, save image as, Since I'm at home creating this, I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Super Art Teacher. Woohoo! The next thing that we're going to do is open it up in Photoshop. So you go to Programs and find the Photoshop file. We're going to File, Open our image. Maybe. I could have sworn I saved it to the desktop. Okay, and I guess if that doesn't work, go back to the internet and we'll just copy the image and paste the image. But we have to create a new file first. So I'm going to start by my standard 8x10, 200 pixels per inch. Edit, paste. We're going to Control T and stretch our image. This is going to change later anyway, depending on if you want full body shots or not full body shots. Ooh, look, skinny, wide. So once you're happy with that, of course, double click. And I would like you to save this layer, or not save it, but rename it to Original. So we can work around this and not distort this in any way. We're going to make a duplicate layer. And we're going to delete the entire background. And you can do this with the Quick Selection tool, the Magic Wand tool, the Eraser tool, the Magic Eraser tool, basically whatever you're comfortable with at this time. And you're going to delete your entire background. If you hold down Control and Spacebar, you can zoom in, Spacebar to grab, and then just go through. Whoop, too much. And delete your whole background. And that is all we are going to do for this section of the tutorial. Tutorial. So good luck. Don't be scared to ask any questions.